talking about in studio this morning. You're saying what possible thing could a twist ice cream cone? We're actually talking about, in my opinion, education with a twist. And the twist is, I think, from what I'm gathering, more student involvement. In studio with me is Bob Rath, President, Chief Operating Officer of Our Piece of the Pie. And Bob, we started off talking about, the fact that you are actually going to be opening up a new school in about a year here in Willimantic.
That's correct, Steve. Path Academy Wyndham will open with students walking in the doors August 1, 2014. We have a project underway to convert the old YMCA on Main Street into the school. We've got a team of people, Kroski Architects and Construction Resources as the contractor, getting things organized for us, and we're full steam ahead. I think one of the things about the school that I wanted to talk about a little bit is sort of a little more about why that this school is important. In 2009, we commissioned an economist at the Northeastern, Dr. Andrew Sum, to look at the economic impact of dropouts on Connecticut's economy. And he and his team produced 4 monographs and 200 pages of material, which is available for you, Steve, at our website, www.opp.org. But I want to boil it down to one slide that he produced in a presentation that he made at the Governor's Dropout Summit in 2009. And it boils down to this. If you look at somebody's 40-year working life, that's about everybody's working life, plus or minus 40 years. And then you look at what their last grade attainment was. So were they a dropout? Did they graduate from high school? Did they complete additional schooling? So if you look at, with the filter, 40-year working life by grade attainment, what he did was come up with a number of what the balance sheet was for that individual. So by balance sheet, I mean what was the net between their total contributions and taxes versus their total consumption and services. And what he found out is that the average balance sheet of a high school dropout in the state of Connecticut is minus $104,000. So over a 40-year period, a dropout in Connecticut consumes $104,000 more in services than they produce in taxes. And high school graduate balance sheet is a positive $414,000. So it's a $500,000 swing for every dropout. If you look at the number of dropouts that Wyndham has, you can see the adverse economic impact over that long period of time. Years ago, what was happening is, if young people dropped out, what they do? They went and worked in the mills. And so there was sort of, I think, a level of acquiescence on the part of educators and employers because there was somewhere for that labor to go. But the problem now is there's nowhere for that labor to go. And so you produce dropouts that have nowhere to go and nothing that they can do. And basically that negative $104,000 is because dropouts are 3 or 4 or 5 more times likely to be incarcerated, and to have poor health outcomes. Every adverse social indicator you want to look at is more associated with dropouts. Well, Our Piece of the Pie, we've been working with young people for a long time. I've been at this organization, I'm now in my 20th year, and all these young people can be successful. The issue is building relationships with them so that they understand they have choices to make. What happens along the way is they don't get the level of guidance that they need. They don't get the level of involvement that they need, so that they quit believing that they actually can have some success in their future. We've developed strategies that help young people believe in themselves and they can be successful. So that over the course of the last 5-6 years, we've served over 3,000 young people. 80% of them are graduating from high school. 80% are completing a post-secondary credential of some sort. So that means a vocational certification, a 2-year degree, or a 4-year degree. And 80% of them are retaining employment for 12 months or more. Those are the key things that we want to see in productive citizens so that they're paying taxes so you and I can get Social Security, Steve. Right?
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's the goal. But more than that is to make sure that these young people have successful lives, and they can. So we have intently researched in our work the kind of school model that works for these young people. And as we talked about earlier, part of the educational model is that there's this blended learning that incorporates a computer PC-based curriculum with teachers helping get young people to higher order thinking skills, students to higher order thinking skills. There's the project-based learning that helps to build at the relevance of the subject matter that they're learning, and there's this notion of mastery-based progression so that it's not about time and seed, it's about building competence about key principles and concepts. But there are some additional key components that I wanted to talk about. One is there's a strong workforce development component. So every student we work with, we will be working on them building a set of career competencies so that they're ready for the workplace. Every student that's in this school will have an internship, so that there'll be some shadowed internships, and then there'll be paid internships, so that they get connected to the workforce and begin to understand the value of that. This work is going to be integrated through the day. So again, it's about making sure that young people the students see the relevance of what they're learning to the world. And go ahead.
I want to comment on that just real quick, because I was actually thinking as you were talking, I was going back to my high school days, and I remember sitting in the classroom, and I actually asked teachers several times when they were teaching something, where am I going to use this? What do I need to know this for? And I'm the first to admit I was like the worst student you could possibly ever imagine. But I could never connect, well, not never, but quite often I could not connect what this teacher was wanting me to learn to anything that I saw going to be in my future. Now, I want to qualify that at no point when I was in high school did I ever imagine myself being in broadcasting, number one. I did not pay attention in English class in any way, shape, or form. I never considered that I would become a broadcaster, became a broadcaster. I never considered that I would end up running a business, overseeing employees, those sort of things. And so the thing that you are saying that I think people need to get is you guys are actually tying the education to real life, which I think is paramount for people to understand why this education is important.
Absolutely agree. That's why this design that we have. You know, what we've noticed in our work is that with access and opportunity, every young person, every student can be successful, and it's understanding the connections between what they're learning and what they want to do, and actually being challenged with the question of what do you want to do, so that you start to think about it. But before people can start to ask the question of what they want to do, they have to begin to believe that they actually can do something.
Right.
And what we're doing with these young people, these English language learners and these overage and undercredit students, is we're helping them get to that threshold of I can change, I can learn, I can be successful in my life. And then the relevance, the career stuff, all that, it's all connected, but it becomes more meaningful.
Bob, there's showstoppers, and you talked a lot about people that were dropouts and stuff. You know, somebody who has had maybe a life event, maybe it's a single-parent home, and they need an income, and so the kid drops out and goes to work or something like that. There are, you know, being just discouraged. You know, I'm not going to be successful at school, dropping out. These are what I refer to as, in my mind, the showstoppers, the things that's going to stop that kid. And your program actually gets them re-involved and gets them reactivated.
That's correct. I think, you know, when the showstopper issue, about half of the overage undercredit students, it's the showstoppers that get them out of school. The other half, it's accumulated academic deficiencies. A lot of the social promotion, you know, we don't count things until we get to ninth grade, when you have to earn credits to graduate from high school. So a lot of ninth graders that are not having success in ninth grade, it's not that we shouldn't have known before they got there that they weren't ready and they weren't going to have success, because we've been moving them along. anyway.
Right.
But they get to ninth grade and they're not going to have that success. So whether it's the aggregated or the accumulated academic deficiencies or the showstopper, the life happens kind of stuff, what we're doing is working with those young people, customizing for every student. We'll start with 120 students. We'll go up to 200 students. Every student has a customized plan that incorporates what they need to get to success.
What do you foresee the impact of the school being on the Wyndham community in a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road?
Well, one thing is you want the Wyndham community. I mean, we've been meeting with a lot of people in the community. We've had a lot of contact talking about this model and have had involvement with the Wyndham Federation of Teachers, the Wyndham Public Schools, the Chamber of Commerce, QVCC. We've talked with employers like Willimantic Waste and banks and others. Everybody is looking for employees that can think, can do practical work, can read, write, spell, are ready with some skills for the workplace. They don't have to have all the content. That's not it. They don't have to have the content like broadcasting, like you picked up. But they have to have those core skills. We're going to be able to get these young people the core skills. So what the impact we're going to have is we're going to produce a labor force, and we're going to have students graduating who are ready for post-secondary training of their choice. And those are going to be more productive members in this community, which if you look out 20 years, that's what you want. You want more productive, you want better thinkers. One of those thinkers is going to start a company in Willimantic, and it'll fill up that stone building down there that's empty.
What about the issue of English not being a first language? Is that something that you guys look at as well?
In particular, Wyndham school systems has the highest percentage of students that are English language learners in the state for any school district. Doesn't mean the most, but the highest percentage of students at 26%. The average across the state is 5.5%. So, it's in the neighborhood of 5 times what it is across the state. So we have very focused programs with teachers to support the English language learners and help them be successful in their academic program.
Right. And I mean, that really, when you start talking about the workforce and stuff, that's really the language, the communication is a very, very big piece of it.
Absolutely is an important piece of it. We want these young people they're going to have a mastery of critical skills necessary for success in college, career, and the community.
Bob, this is a really exciting piece in addition to the community. We've got about roughly 3 minutes left here. Want to get your website, let people know how to get a hold of you. The other question that I want to get in real quick: how would students apply and become a part of this school? So
our piece of the pie website is www.opp.org. The main number for the organization is 860-761-7300, and we will start working on recruiting with Wyndham Public Schools and surrounding school districts probably September, October. If somebody else is interested out there in advance, please be sure and call our main number, and that is our website. There's a contact us spot there. We have deep experience in this work. The schools that we've been running and are a part of operating in both Hartford and Bloomfield, we've graduated 150 students that are overage and under credit since 2009. These students can be successful, and we know how to get them there. I appreciate any support in this community. We really want people to embrace this school and see it as a key building block for Wyndham's future success.
And you are actually a nonprofit organization, so if someone has interest in participating from the standpoint of helping you out with a couple of bucks, that's not a bad thing either.
Absolutely. Volunteers and a couple of bucks would really be appreciated.
Volunteers, a couple of bucks. That is the the mantra of every nonprofit I've ever known, Bob. So I appreciate you coming in, and
Thank you, Steve.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys are doing here. I think you're definitely on track. You're definitely answering all the questions that I had. My kids have all made it through high school and everything, and it's good to see a school taking a practical approach to education. So.
Thanks again, Steve. And since we're going to be 3 doors away, you guys come do a remote kickoff when we open the doors.
I'll bring some donuts. How about that?
Wonderful.
So,
Thanks
right.
again.
I appreciate it, Bob. Thank you very much.